like the wings? It's okay
Yes.
if you didn't. I'm sorry that I asked you for wings last minute. I just was like, Emry.
The magic's being ruined. Camera's rolling.
I'm sorry, camera.
You look great.
I have to put my wings on.
You're being a very sensual Emry.
Yeah, I'm being sensual, Emry. I saw this one picture where she had this like top coat thing on, just like this, and was like, "Oh, that's what I'll wear." It doesn't even matter. You can't even see the wings. You can't even see my wings. I'm too fat. I'm too fat for my wings.
No, you're not. I think these are children's wings.
Oh, that's all. They're just children's wings. No, they're clipped. Actually, this is good. They're supposed to be. They're supposed to be clipped because of those bastards.
Bastards. I'm dressed as Nesta during the bedroom scene, and I didn't want to wear it. I didn't want to wear it last week because you were Cassian.
Oh, yeah, so you didn't want to, like, get me too hot and bothered?
I just didn't want the connotation to be there.
Oh, yeah. We don't need to give them a show.
But it's just that I'm wearing a slip and a wig, and a bunch of city workers just showed up at my door right before this, and so I just answered the door.
They go, Bobble, I'm in trouble.
I don't know if they did that as much as like, it's an insane woman that's here. She's a slip, Crocs, and this wig. And I was just like, yes.
Croc.
They're like, we need to cut a tree in your yard. It's like, well, I hope you're not robbers because I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Middle of the day, and I'm dressed like this.
They don't know. They don't get it. Oh, also, I couldn't find my ears, so please don't look directly at my ears because I couldn't find them.
Oh my God!
I know. They're round and disgusting.
You know what? Opposite problem. I put my ears on and then remembered that Illyrian don't have the ears.
Well,
so then I had to rip them off.
Ears.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah, you could have used my ears.
What happened to my ears?
I don't know, man. We're gonna have to smush it. Maybe you should get the forever implants, then we never have to worry about it.
You're right.
We have talked about it before.
I'm down. Let's go.
Got friends with them.
We do. We actually do have friends.
Yeah,
with them.
so let's get the real ones. I want to forever be Faye.
Yeah, let's live in complete denial reality.
Forever. I'm probably not gonna live forever. I'm probably gonna. I mean, again, I'm having a midlife crisis, so I guess I'm saying that my end's around 72. Midlife crisis. Got another tattoo. Yeah, I'm talking about it.
That was a poem.
What?
You just rhymed.
Oh, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Sounds like somebody's ready to record.
It's not me.
Our mother just left town.
It was very nice.
No, it was great. I'm exhausted, but I think it's kind of fun. You know, like you forget when, like, until your mom's in town, how much, like, I don't know, not everyone has this relationship with their mom, but like my mom and I talk a lot. So it's just been like a lot of talking. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of like deep talking, which is fun, you know, really stretches your mindscape when you just want to think real deep.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but Mom, I'm wearing a slip and I got wings on. What do I do, Mama?
Mama, what do I do, Mama?
Mama! No, she loves it.
Yeah, I'm like having a mac and cheese hangover from how much I ate.
My poor butt. I made I think 8 pounds of mac and cheese yesterday.
So good. Wagon wheel noodles.
Yeah. Bro, I think we just unlocked something. I'm throwing it down here. What is your favorite mac and cheese noodle shape? This is very important. I will judge you on your answer. Now, we used pinwheels, which are not called pinwheels. I think they're called like rotana. And we use the pinwheels though for.
That's a traditional Italian shape? I thought that was just some weird dumb American thing we did.
I mean, I'm sure it's not like OG Italian. I think this is more of like, you know, macaroni rascals Italian, which is, yes, what the Jersey Shore is called overseas.
Okay.
Macaroni
That's
rascals.
right. That's right. I forgot.
It is a tidbit of information I'll never forget. Can't remember what I did yesterday, but I do remember that.
Was it Italy where it's called that?
Italy. In macaroni rascals.
It is actually called macaroni rascals.
Which is definitely what we were yesterday while we ate all of that mac and cheese. And now my poor butt.
Your butt?
Yeah, man. I'm midlife crises can't handle the dairy.
Oh, got it.
And maybe that's just my regular body, but I'm going to blame... I think that blaming everything on a midlife crisis is my new thing.
Midlife crisis 2024.
Yeah, I got to start drinking at 2 p.m. I'm in midlife crisis. That's when I think you guys will have a conversation with me about me having a midlife crisis. But I think that it's going to last about 5 years.
Oh, no.
So...
what will be left of you after that?
Good luck. I don't know what's going to be left of me. I've been thinking about getting a head tattoo. I don't know.
What do you mean a head tattoo?
I want it on my head. I want it on the side of my head.
Well, that's all right. Just your hair grows over it.
I hear that it just, like, it feels like you're literally, like, drilling into, like, the middle of the earth.
Like, I wouldn't want that.
Our
I don't
friend
want
said
that.
that, like, she couldn't think straight for, like, a week after it.
And you want that.
Kinda.
Okay.
Midlife crisis.
You're just going to tattoo hair.
Aw, that would be kind of cute. Maybe I'll shave off my eyebrows and I'll tattoo the eyebrows on, and then my eyebrows will grow back in. Double the brow, double the fun.
I think these are all really good ideas.
Thank you.
And
can you handle my energy right now?
We are going to go. Maybe we'll workshop them a little bit later.
Sure. I'm open.
Okay, we'll put a bulletin together. We'll just put a eraser board.
Yeah.
With some notes.
Yeah, get some notes up there. I just want to know, share with us. Have you had a midlife crisis? What did you buy? And did you destroy your life?
And what age does it start for you? Because I don't think you're old enough.
You don't think I'm old enough yet. I think I'm just looking at the big picture here, I'm trying to technically I'm being positive. I think it's like a nice thing where it's like, oh, isn't it nice that she thinks that she's going to live this long, that she has a midlife crisis when she's 36?
What?
Yeah.
You think you're...
spinning into positive. I'm pronoia. I'm living a life how my husband lives. He believes in living a life, it's the opposite of paranoia, where like the world's got your back. It's called pronoia. And that you believe in the positive energy of the world.
Like, is it just like constantly being prepared for a trust fall, just knowing somebody's going to get you?
Yeah, just like, so just...
Oh, God. Didn't work. That didn't work. I guess I reacted.
Pronoia. Natalie, you gotta be prepared.
You did just throw your body at me, and I didn't punch you.
No, and so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for not doing that. And see, growth. That's what we're here for. Child's wings. I will say, we were following someone. We were walking behind them in Vegas, and it was a woman that had very, very small wings tattooed on her back, and she was a larger woman, and I just followed behind her, and I just kept laughing to myself, imagining if they were real wings, and how it would be able to just be like,
little tiny wings.
They were very small. They were like the size of my hand. Small. And I don't know. I was like, maybe they mean something. Maybe like something has small wings that like, and I was like, or did she not know the tattoo was going to be this small? And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, she just starting the wings?
She ordered it from Shein and was like, wait a second.
How small are these wings? I'm not going to go anywhere with these wings. So, just to share.
All right. Well, we last left Nesta in her stairwell, mulling over what she needed to do.
Oh, is it kiss and fuck?
No, now she's mulling over how she needs to deal with the priestesses and their decision to not bow to her whims, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
But we don't know that as a reader yet. She was on the stairs. She realizes she needs to do something. And then at the start of chapter 24, Cassian is standing in front of Clotho.
Oh.
He's thinking about how utterly brutalized the female was when she first arrived, centuries past, and how he's not sure whether her face was saved. Because when Moore brought her in, she was completely, mutilated, essentially.
This was my issue, because I was going to dress as Clotho today, and then I realized I don't have, any prosthetics. I had nothing to put on my face.
Yeah, also...
I didn't want to do it. Yeah, and I just, I wasn't thinking about that. I just had a cloak, and I was like, oh, I could be Clotho, and then it was
I mean, you could just be any priestess.
Yeah, just a priestess.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I will be in the future.
Put on a fun wig, and then you just, add different priestess.
I kind of have a few.
I have also several now.
That's why I thought today was nice, because, like, Emery's got dark hair, but except her hair is more, like, black, but...
I mean, I think it's a good color match.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Although she does wear her hair, I was trying to braid my hair because she wears a braid off to the side, and I realized I don't know how to, so I was just kind of, like, trying to twist it, but that's not how you make a braid.
You don't know how to braid?
No.
Really?
I don't know how to braid.
Wow, Jackie. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be... I'm shocked.
Yeah, you could teach me if you want.
I'd be happy to teach you.
I had really, really short hair for most of my life, so I never learned, like, all the things of how... That's why I'm just learning even about the curly girl. I'm doing the curly girl method because I don't know how to have long hair.
Yeah, that's so... Because sometimes it's interesting. I ask, like, masculine presenting people if they were taught to braid, or people who were masculine presenting as kids, because I don't know if guys are taught to braid when they're young. I think, yeah. So our producer, editor is saying no, he did not learn.
He does not know how to braid. But then my husband does know at least, like, the basics of braiding because of, like, knot tying. So it's like you can use some, like, knot tying techniques.
It is a knot, basically.
Yeah, kind of. It's like, I feel like they're really pitching braiding wrong. It's just knots, right? Is that what knots are, right?
You need to rebrand it.
It needs a rebrand. I'm PR for braids now, right? No, I don't know how to braid. I don't know.
No, there's no money to be made with it.
But big braid, I'm coming for you. So you're gonna have to teach me how to braid.
I got 2 big braids right here.
Yeah. Did you braid it yourself?
No, look how beautiful this is, though. This wig, this company's so
Whoa,
nice.
it's got, like, bejewels in it.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with this. It's an Etsy company called Freya's Garden.
Whoa.
I believe. They're great. So Clotho hearing through Cassian's thought, Clotho has been in the sanctuary. Basically, I think what he's saying is that she was the first, and she's been helping build this sanctuary for all the priestesses since, and he's never seen her face past that first day and doesn't know what happened. Cassian wishes his mother would have had a place like this to go.
Oh, God. Every time he thinks about his mother, it's just so heartbreaking.
No. Well, we find out that Cass is here at the request of Clotho because Nesta is drumming up a bit of contention amongst her and some of the priestesses by doing her kicks and punches amongst the books.
Oh, don't scare the books, Nesta.
This is news to Cassian, and he's pretty surprised by it. Not only because he didn't know that she'd been practicing extra, but that she would disturb the female fae down here.
You might not want to bring, like, a whole, like, violent vibe into there, you know?
Pretty sure they're not into. That's why they're down there.
Yeah, just to be away from all of that. Yeah.
But Cass and Nesta have recently begun the process of learning different sets of punches, and it's a lot to remember. So I guess Nesta's just got to try.
I understand. Kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just like that little dog. What was his name? Like Rap Dizzle.
What?
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
Parappa the Rapper?
Parappa the Rapper. Thank you, Ryan.
am unclear what you're speaking about.
You guys out there know what I'm talking about.
I guess so. I'll have to take your word for that's a real thing.
That's, I think, all I remember from it, but thank you. Parappa the Rappa.
So she is having to remember all of this stuff with Cassian, but that's all that her and Cassian have been doing since the week before.
Oh,
since
I bet
that
they've
night.
been thinking about doing other things, though.
But they haven't acted upon anything or even mentioned it to one another about what happened. Just pretending like it didn't.
Ugh, she's kicking and punching in this little slip over here.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if they would let her go into the library like that.
No, it might just rip off of her body. Not your body. Nesta's body.
Different woman.
Different
fae.
fae.
But now he's before Clotho, and he's trying to hide his amusement at the flustered writing from Clotho, as she's trying to describe why she needs him here. She's not truly mad, but she's pretty irritated at Nesta. He suppresses a smile, and he asks for permission to enter the library space to speak with Nesta. She agrees and thanks him, and when she calls him Lord Cassian, he tries to push back on that, but she writes, Right.
You are a lord in good deeds. It is not a title born, but earned. Oh,
He's he's super touched by this and doesn't argue with her further. After walking down the ramp, he finds Nesta in an aisle on level 5 using books as targets for her punches and kicks. He doesn't alert her to his presence until she finishes her set and then says, "You're still dropping your elbow."
Oh, yeah, she's gonna drop some bows over Goosh, goosh, put your dick inside of
Sexual.
me. Sexual. Right? That's a sexual. This is just punching down with your bow, right? That's like a sexy thing. Don't look at me while I do it. This is how I get Jeff turned on. Goosh.
Just pulling the lever on gum.
Yeah, and it comes down like slime.
Yeah, cool. She spins around, shocked that he's there, and he's amused to see her startled and caught off guard. But she shakes it off quickly and marches over to him where he stands on the open side of the ramp facing outward. Instead of asking him what he's doing here, she challenges him. She was not dropping her elbow.
Whoa.
Before Cassian can launch into Clotho's request, she demands to know exactly where she's dropping her elbow. Why don't you show me then?
Oh, yeah.
And the Cassian is thinking in this moment that he feels pretty moved by it because the fire in her that he remembers when he first met Nesta is appearing at the surface, which he hasn't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Which, while prickly, she's always had a lot of passion in her until very recently. So he obliges, going exactly against Clotho's wishes. He tells her to get into fighting stance and show him another punch. She noticeably drops her elbow. Get back into position.
She did, and he asked.
May I?
Nesta nodded and kept perfectly still as he made minute adjustments to the angle of her arm.
Punch again, slowly.
Oh,
okay.
Can you show me how to do it? I don't know.
Men love when women don't know things.
Yeah, like teach me.
I don't get to so confused.
Baby.
Cassie, what are you doing here?
Except no, he likes the fire.
No, he likes
He doesn't
a woman.
want a baby.
No,
he wants
it's
a
a
woman.
He continues to respectfully guide her through the process, only touching her where necessary, not getting into her space. She punches again with perfect form, and he gives her a series of combinations to go through. He watches her complete them beautifully. She was like, quote, watching a river to him. They continue to go through some tips and breakdowns, and then he notices that when his attention is turned towards the greater library, that there are little sets of eyeballs peeking out from the banisters all
Imagine
around.
it's like boink, 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 boink.
That's how I was seeing it, like little raccoons.
Yeah, staring at you, waiting for you to leave the trash behind.
When they see him looking, they all scamper away, but he notices one copper-topped head watching the longest. He realizes in this moment that Nesta had perfect form earlier in the day, that she had known better than she was acting like. I figured you'd correct me.
Shock and delight slammed into him. She'd moved out of the stacks before she let him do so, into plain view, so they would all see him teaching her. Oh, so we get it.
That's what she came up with on the staircase. She wanted them to see that he was not scary.
And that
basically.
he wasn't like getting in her space or doing anything that he wasn't consent king.
Consent
king. What you want, just the touch of an I won't touch you.
Thank
touch
you.
of cupping, but it's cupping of the elbows.
Oh, I
Cupping.
see you doing like
Imagine that. Of just like a slight just may I and these slight movements and you're just like, oh, you feel the like cupping. Cup. Only time I think cupping is sexy, I guess, if it's on a bow.
I don't know what else would be a sexy cupping.
I guess if you cup the bulls.
I guess that, I think that it's if they would like that, that's cool. But I'm not like, I can't wait to cup these balls.
These balls. Oh yeah, get these balls over here.
I'll get those. Can't wait to get my hands on those testicles.
Yeah.
Those sacks.
Those sacks.
All women love it.
Hell yeah.
A little secret about women.
Get us near those sacks.
As she walks away from Cassian, she tells him to go ahead and tell Clotho that she won't be practicing down here anymore, leaving Cassian to lean against his locker, shaking his head in wonder as he pulls his sunglasses down.
He's like, that bitch.
I don't know why I just saw him as AC Slater in this scene.
I mean, yuck and a half.
Yuck.
But, yeah, I guess. I see, vibes-wise, yes.
Not sexually attractiveness-wise.
No.
We cut over to Nesta's POV and confirm what Cassian had observed, that she wanted the priestesses, that's a really difficult word to pronounce
priestesses,
accurately.
yes.
Priestesses. She wanted the priestesses to see.
Thank you. Now I'm like, oh, that's
You're like,
the
oh,
word.
that's what you were saying. Okay. To see that Cassian is a respectful male, that even though the two of them are practically ripping each other's clothes off, he still maintains an appropriate distance, doesn't condescend to her, doesn't bully or antagonize, because obviously the priestesses can tell that their scents are all over each other, right?
Yeah.
But even in that moment, he still was very respectful of her space. Yet that evening, there were still no names on the sign-up sheets.
Come on, gals.
She gets a sense that Clotho is as disappointed as she is, and that really affects Nesta for some reason. Again, Nesta decides to take to the stairs that night, chastising herself for being so stupid. Maybe she was totally wrong, and the physical training wouldn't help them. Maybe she's just a big, dumb idiot.
No, Nesta, don't talk about our friend like that.
I know, right? This night she makes it down to 900 steps before she begins her journey back, feeling defeated. She's ready to collapse into bed when she notices a new book on her nightstand. It's called The Dance of Battle.
Ooh.
I assume that SJM is referencing the ancient text, The Art of War, which was said to have been written by Sun Tzu in 5th century BC China. It's a text that's been highly regarded as not only a militaristic guidebook, but is often used as a reference for metaphorical war in business or other competitive spaces. It's author-
Just like what we do here,
yes, The Art of War.
Swords of the tongue.
Yes. So that, I think, is what she's referencing. It's a pretty famous book. You've probably heard the title before. But it was interesting. I was just reading a little bit about it for this, and the author is heavily debated as being a real person or not. So
who wrote the book?
I think that there is a suggestion that it was many people.
Oh, it takes a village.
Because it seems to be there's no concrete proof that Sun Tzu was a real person. Sort of the way historical figures are more like symbolic or an amalgamation of people's projections. Even like combining a group of people, like Jesus, like a lot of speculations about Jesus Christ or King Arthur.
That like the stories weren't all about one person. It was about like a group of people.
Sprinkling of different things and then people's perceptions.
So you're saying that I could also be one of Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
Maybe like what I do, and they're like, man, when your titties are hanging out, you know, like Jesus.
Is that... Wait.
I don't know, maybe that's something he championed that we didn't even know about because,
right,
you know,
because,
like the other things.
Around.
Yeah, it got changed around. Maybe he was up there and he was going, ooh. By up there, I mean on the crucifix.
Oh, wow, okay. Wow. Oh, no. Yeah, but so they think that potentially that author could actually be that, just a group of people that they like created into like an imagery of something, which is I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I also have no authority to speak on this book whatsoever. Just
you're just talking about
stuff.
what you, yeah, you know.
I wonder if SGM actually read that Art of War to write out battle scenes. I'm wondering if she came across that.
She must have had to read something because the way she writes them it's so fun and so like fluid that I feel like she must have done some kind of preparation and or at least knows something about the way war can be fought.
Yeah, and I mean,
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
I wouldn't be surprised if authors like sometimes would read that to write battle scenes if they've never been in a battle before. Also, I know in a lot of her like acknowledgement sections of her books, she thanks people. Like I know she referenced people who had fight training and stuff for this book.
Hell yeah,
because there's a lot of fighting in it.
Maybe she'll talk to you. Maybe she'll get you up. Sarah, please hit us up. Come on.
Snap me. Snapchat? Do people do Snapchats?
I think it is still big for youngs, yes.
I think it's also big for sex trafficking.
Oh, so that's bad. Maybe
Yeah.
get off the Snapchat. But the filters.
They are fun. So Nesta now has a mysterious book on her nightstand, this Dance of Battle. She at first thinks it's from the house, but the house basically says, "Nah, it's not me, bestie. I didn't bring it."
Uh-oh.
Then she smells that familiar Sex Panther smell all over it and realizes the book was from Cassian.
He'd left it for her, deemed her worthy of whatever lay inside. Nesta perched on the edge of the bed and thumbed open the text.
She reads and reads through the night.
It was astonishing how much of the art of warfare was like the social manipulation her mother had insisted she learn. Picking battlegrounds, finding allies amongst the enemies of one's enemies. Some of it was wholly new, of course, and such a precise way of thinking that she knew she'd have to read the manuscript many times to fully grasp its lessons.
And she also notes that it looks like it's been read 100 times already, like Cassian constantly goes through it. So this is sort of this big compliment to her that feels that she's, like she said, worthy enough to read this thing that's so important to him.
I just get it because, like, I do that with The Giver. I read The Giver once every year, so I, can learn what happens if you see red for the first time. And I'll go, oh my God, there's no color. There's no color. Spoiler alert, there's no color. There's no color in the book, other than they learn color. I read The Giver once a year. And so it's just like Cassian. I'm just like Cassian. Where are my bigger wings? I'm ready for regular adult wings.
Maybe we can sprinkle some Miracle Grow on them.
I think that's a great idea. And then you could put your hands on my back and give me your memories. Have you heard The Giver?
No,
It's a book you read in like middle school. And
I'm thinking of The Giving Tree, which is different.
yes, that is different, but also a beautiful book.
Very sad.
Oh,
Very sad book. No, I don't know The Giver. I only read smut.
yeah, we're in a smut world now. There's no smut in The Giver, but it was
That'd
the
be
first
weird if
book.
they gave it to
Yeah.
middle
Oh yeah,
schoolers.
no, it would be very uncomfortable. But I will say it was the first book that like blew my mind.
Oh, that's cute.
As like a 10-year-old.
Aw.
See, isn't that nice and sweet? I'm not all tattoos and sex.
Yeah.
That's what
I
everyone
always thought
thinks
you were all
about me.
sex, Jackie. Until I knew you read books in middle school. Finally, eyes heavy, she puts the book down to get some sleep before the next day starts. As she drifts off, she begins to sort through her memories of seeing Cassian in battle and notes that he seems to use this book as a guide in so many ways, but strays from it in one big way. The book suggests commanding troops from the back. Yeah, from the butt. Yeah, it's the butt.
Yeah, that's where I like to get commanded to. Command me from behind.
They're murdering people.
I'm sorry, they're murdering people. This is very serious business.
Cassian always fights from the front.
Yeah. His dick. Yeah, with his penis.
You think he uses it as a spear at the front?
Sword. That's what I mean, right?
What I've heard, it's big enough to.
Okay. The size of my forearm. That's too much. It's too much.
Ow,
Yeah,
yuck.
I'd rather not.
No, thank
but-
you. Right before her brain moves to a full dream state, she mulls over the many perceived failures of her life and how that is now blaringly continuing to happen with the priestesses. This feeling of failure jolts her back from blessed oblivion, and she stares out into the darkness.
Man, I get that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like you're having a good time, you're like thinking about good things, and all of a sudden, slam! Remember that one thing that you did that you always are going to remember? Slam! You're not going to go to sleep tonight. Slam!
Yeah, when you're almost asleep and then you have like some anxiety thought and you're like, fuck!
Get out of here, intrusive thoughts!
The next afternoon, she begins her shift at the library and she tries to slip past Clotho, not wanting to sense her disappointment at the empty sign-up sheet. But then suddenly she notices Clotho gesturing at her, and she can tell it's with excitement. Nesta turns her head towards the pillar.
A name had been scrawled on the sheet. One name in bold letters. One name ready for tomorrow's lesson. Gwen.
Yay! Gwen did it!
bitch!
And with that, we enter part 2, Blade.
And we're not talking about Cassian's penis.
Ooh, I hope it's not sharp. Ouch.
Yeah, what are you gonna give me another slit? Oh, I'm sorry, I disgusted myself. I disgusted myself. I don't like it. I don't like that I said it. I don't like that I thought it, but I thought it and I had to say it to you guys because now we're all shared in my horror show of a brain.
It's here we realize that the parts are being labeled. So the parts of the book, now we're like, clearly this is being labeled by the classifications used by the Valkyrie. Because we learned that way back in chapter 13 when Gwen was explaining her Valkyrie research that she was doing with Meryl. So the first part is called Novice, the part 2 is called Blade, and then the third thing that happens to become Valkyrie, then you become Valkyrie. So right now we're at Blade.
Yes.
As we start part 2, Cassian and Nesta are waiting at the training ring, definitely not nervous for Gwen to arrive.
It's so, what a cute thing for them to go through together where they're both like trying to be like cool about it. Like, oh yeah, she's gonna like, she's gonna show up. She's gonna show up, right?
It also shows a progression in their intimacy because they're both standing there and going like, you're making me nervous. Well, you're not, you're making me nervous. Stop it. Or it's like this sort of, it almost feels a little bit coupley.
It does.
Question mark. Soon, Gwen appears in the stone archway, and Nesta rushes forward because she can sense that Gwen is pretty freaked out by doing this, and it's emanating from her. So she kind of comes forward to get closer to Gwen to help her, like, escort her out of the darkness of the archway. Mm-hmm. She hasn't been outside in 2 years, but technically in priestess years, that's not that long. Somebody had been there for, like, 100 years.
Yeah. And they still aren't going outside. You'd think they'd get them some, like, tanning beds.
They just get that big old window on the side of the mountain in their room.
Take some vitamin D.
No, none of them are.
No, they're not.
None
they
of them
should.
are.
That's probably not helping their sads.
I agree. Cassian walks away to allow Nesta and Gwen to have a little sidebar to get Gwen sort of acclimated without him hovering. Where Gwen shyly notes that she realized that she doesn't have any proper training attire. Cassian interjects from the side that he can train her in anything, in robes or whatever, if preferred. Gwen has not decided if she's willing to trade the robes out yet, but tells them she'll see how she feels after this lesson.
Oh, I love that he's just so, like, down to keep her as, like, cool and into everything and consenting as possible. I mean, this is where you really fall in love with Cassian.
Oh, yeah.
Watching him interact with these with these people with such traumatic pasts. Like, oh my God. Yep. Melt.
All right, fine, I'll kiss you.
Yes.
God, Cassian.
I'll kiss you. I'll lean up. Oh, you're so big. Oh, your chest is so strong.
Your eyes are closed. Are you just pretending you're in a different
I'm
place?
thinking about Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice big furry man.
He's a big furry man.
So Gwen is distracted by the sun on her face. It basically says, like, guys, I might be a little distracted. I haven't felt sun on my head for 2 years.
Yeah, I'd say give her a second to take it in.
Yeah. And Nesta, of course, doesn't care, but she's not sure how to proceed and doesn't know what to say. Thankfully, Cassian senses this and tells them it's time to get to feet touching. Get their shoes off, Gwen.
Whoa. Just imagine their feet, just their two toes going... Oh, I like you too.
Is this Cassian and Nesta's toes?
I think just maybe toes like other toes. Have you ever thought about that?
No, it's horrifying.
That toes are sentient?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very scary. Yeah, this little piggy ain't going to the market anymore. Where's the piggy gonna go? Depends.
Hopefully not to the market, because that probably means it's getting slaughtered.
Yeah, oh no.
Within the first lesson, Nesta notices that Gwen is agile and quick to pick up movement cues. She finds Gwen to be joyful once she gets over the initial shyness. She seems to almost be having fun with this, which is good news.
Yes.
As they're taking a break, Gwen tells Nesta about the fact that as a priestess in Sangrava, that they did actually train a lot of movement and breathing exercises back then. They were training to be warriors, but they moved for spiritual reasons, and that they had learned breathing exercises. When Nesta asked her why she wanted to come learn techniques then, Gwen tells her she doesn't want to feel powerless anymore.
Nesta swallowed, and though instinct told her to pull away, she said quietly,
Me too.
Oh my God, they're becoming friends.
Oh my God, she opened up.
Look at
about
that.
something.
And I love that. And though instinct told her to pull away,
Yeah.
she said quiet. I love that.
Yeah. She did it. She reached out her own hand to herself.
Oh my God, to herself, and then her own, and then the piggies were like, "What about us?
Get
And I
out of
was
here,
like,
feet!
Stack
It's
back
not
in the
about
shoe."
you. We pick up a couple days after this at Windhaven, and we learn through Nesta's thoughts that Gwen has returned the following days for lessons. And so now that we're a few days in, Gwen's like, she's doing it. She's in. Which is exciting. Now Cassian and Nesta on this day have taken a trip up to Windhaven for Cassian to take care of some Illyrian businesses. And he's not quite sure why Nesta wanted to tag along, but she did. However, she thinks he probably really knows what she's doing here. He kind of gave her a look being like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
Nesta's grateful to enter the little shop that Emry owns to get out of the wintry air that's already seeping through Windhaven. Flap, 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 flap. Who's flapping?
I was flapping my clipped wings.
Oh, so you were Emry in the shop.
Yes,
flapping
waiting.
wings around.
Yeah, like excited that someone was coming in. Because I imagined if I had wings, when I got excited, I'd flap, 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 flap them.
Unless you had wing trauma. They got
Yeah, I
clipped.
guess maybe then you keep them far away and you don't want anyone to look at them. But I'm just thinking, like, if I had a tail, it'd be wagging a lot.
No, it's true. Yeah.
You know, you ever think about that?
All the time. All the time. So basically the winter air has already hit Windhaven, even though it's barely autumn. Emry is behind the counter, and there's a male with his back to Nesta speaking to her. She can tell right away the room is tense and that Emry looks uncomfortable. So Nesta walks straight up next to the male and realizes that he's clearly drunk.
Oh, God.
She gives him a withering stare and then ignores him. It's clear that Nesta is attempting to save Emry from whatever ugly interaction this is, even though she's not sure what's happening. We pick up that this male is someone Emry is familiar with named Bellius, and that he's threatening her. Nesta's not having it.
Hell no.
She essentially tells him to leave and humiliates him, refusing to demur to him or placate his bad behavior.
Hell yes.
And then Emry also tells him to go, and he calls her a hateful bitch. Emry laughs, and Nesta says, "Get out."
Nesta said again, pointing to the door as Bellius bristled at her fading laughter.
"Do yourself a favor and get out."
Man, it sounds like this where it's like, man, I love that kind of Nesta friend where it's like comes in, is like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. You are not gonna. I definitely was way more this back in the day of just like when someone was like, it's like, you mess with me, you mess with any of my friends, I will cut you down. And I've tamed on that a little bit over years of therapy and anger management and things like that. But
Every so often that comes in handy,
it
though.
pops out. It gets there every once in a while of just like, don't fuck with me and don't fuck with anybody I love.
Yeah. But you're right.
But I'm also a lady.
You're right that it's not always a good thing.
It's not always. Sometimes I used to pop off in places, in times when you're just like,
What?
this isn't good for you. It's not like, this is not a safe thing for you to do. This is not the time for you to act like this. So I've learned to not do it in those situations.
Look at you. Midlife crisis.
I guess this is growing up. Flap, 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 flap. She wasn't flapping her wings right now, though.
No, she's pissed. She's annoyed.
Yeah. Do you think they do use their wings like almost like the ears of like where it's like would her wings be more like back and curt like because I know that they use them in like loving manners, but I wonder if they ever use them like almost like a mood ring to display
Like
their.
to slap people across the face.
Well, I know they don't want to touch anybody, but like definitely like the bristled up. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean they talk about a lot of like whenever they're confronting other Illyrians, their wings get wider, or like they, you know, like you can kind of tell what their stance is by how their wings are either tucked in or not.
I just think that's really cool.
It is cool. I wish that I had them.
Yes.
I want to have wings.
But larger wings, hopefully, than the woman I saw in
tiny
Las
ones.
Vegas.
I want little tiny ones on my head.
Yeah. Call you Copterhead.
Copterhead. Oh no. So, after a few more tense words are exchanged with Bellius, he stumbles out of the store. When the two females are left alone, Emry explains that Bellius is her cousin and that he's a, quote, young, arrogant idiot who is blood right bound this coming spring.
I wonder if he's so angry because people used to call him Smellius instead.
Or just
Belly.
Oh, look, it's a little belly button.
Although that's what they call the main girl in The Summer I Turned Pretty, which, yes, is a show that I am probably too old to be watching. But sometimes you gotta watch a YA series. I mean, this started out as a YA series.
It's very adult now.
Yes. Well, that's why these books, like this book, is not in a YA, not in the YA
She
section.
didn't really want them to be YA in the first place.
No, they kind of like pigeonholed her into that.
Yeah. Oh, just because there's fairies, it's for fucking children?
I don't think so.
What if
Not
the
this
fairies
book.
are fucking each other, huh?
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm bright red, big smile on my face as I read the sex scenes. So he's got the blood right this spring.
Yeah, the blood right. Nesta makes it clear she's not frightened by this information that, she's got all these men threatening her and all this. She's like, got it. I've been there, man. And Emry continues that Bellius' father is her dad's brother. It makes it clear she doesn't think highly of any of her relatives, that they are cruel and unyielding. This sends Nesta through a memory bank, where we learn about her grandmother for the first time, or grandmama. Who? There's no other way to say that.
No, you have to say it like that. I can't even like grandmama. Grandmama. I guess that's cute too. But grandmama makes a lot more sense.
Because it's very pretentious in general.
Yes.
Who, seemingly similar to Nesta's mother, died of a coughing disease when Nesta was 7.
Oh no, is that what my allergies are? Is it really just a coughing disease?
Perhaps.
Natalie!
I'm sorry.
Maybe it's not a midlife crisis.
Maybe it's
an
whooping
end of life
cough.
Oh, it's whooping cough.
It's end of life crisis. Good Lord. So what it sounds like, though, is Grandmama was a cruel dictator who would beat Nesta for dancing missteps.
Jesus.
She would say things like, "Worthless, clumsy girl. You're a waste of my time. Maybe this will help you remember to pay attention to my orders."
Nesta had only felt relief when the old beast had died.
Is this too personal?
Uh-oh, I'm triggered. This is part of why this book, like, with Nesta is so, like, I had also a very evil grandmother that we've discussed publicly before, and it really was, but it's also, like, the weird, like, back and forth in your brain of, like, you feel so relieved that this horrible person is dead, but also then guilt because you're happy that someone's dead, and then, like, it's, like, so, like, tangled up in all of these emotions.
Probably feel anger, too.
Anger, and just so many emotions when someone in your family that was horrible dies. And like Nesta, like totally, all of these building blocks of Nesta's personality just makes her make more and more sense. But then if you think about it, it also makes Feyre make more sense too. Yeah. Because like, I'm sure Feyre also went through this, or she was so uncared for that Nesta, like all of this laid on Nesta, and that it never filed down, like, never spilled down to the younger sisters, because oftentimes it does seem that a lot of like the oldest children take the brunt of like, the beginning of family issues.
And we already learned from her memories that her mother saw Nesta as this weapon, basically, to go seek out fortune. Basically saying Elaine would marry for love, but she would be marrying for calculating reasons, basically so her mom could make money.
Which makes sense because she's the oldest, and and that also still falls on the oldest, and that's which still weirdly does, not to not to that extent in every family, but I feel like a lot of like I'm saying this as I'm that baby, gotta love me, but I see with my peeps all of this other responsibility that my older siblings have to deal with.
Yeah, made you live out on that island, so you could only see them through binoculars.
I wish. Send me out there. You got an island? You got a baby sister island that I can go to? Baby sister island. I'm gonna be nude all the time on Baby Sister Island.
Good Lord. It's Talk about a midlife crisis. So also I thought it was interesting in this memory, she reflects on how she had, gone to the grave of her grandma whenever she had died, but she had gone to her mother's maybe too many times, which is an interesting sort of reflection on the toxic nature of the codependent relationship. She feels so much contempt for her mother, but was almost bred to be addicted to her.
Dude.
As we think of Jeanette McCurdy.
Oh my God, Jeanette McCurdy. That book. Oof. Lord.
That she was sort of obsessed with her mother, even though her mother she knew she wasn't a good mother.
Yeah.
So,
but you're still conditioned. You are manipulated, and it is trauma. She's traumatized.
So she would go sit at her mother's grave, even though, because she didn't know what to do. She was so corralled by her mom her whole childhood.
She didn't know how to be. If someone wasn't telling her exactly what to be and how to be.
Yeah. She's also never visited her father's grave in Valaris, though she knows Elaine and Feyre go regularly. Back to the present time, facing Emry, we learn that Emery's uncle and his family comes periodically to threaten Emry.
Great. So you know where she is, so you just pop by. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Before Nesta can inquire further, Emry changes the subject, saying that Nesta never returned, but that she looks far healthier than she did the last time she was there 3 weeks prior. She tells Nesta that she found out a little bit about how she could get the leathers lined like she had requested back then, and that even though she could do it, it would be expensive. Nesta thanks her but tells her she can't afford it. And in that moment...
It makes me think of the lined Crocs. As someone that recently bought lined Crocs. Yes, they are great. I thought they were going to be too hot on my feet, and they're totally not.
And you did go to a shoemaker. And went,
yes. I said, cobble me these Crocs.
Please, could you line me Crocs?
Me Crocs needed in me cooks, and me Crocs and me cooks. And he was like, why do you keep saying it like this? If you want me to put fur in there, I'll just put fur in there.
I could just put some glue in there.
Stop saying Crocs on me cocks.
Doesn't even make sense. So she basically said, she says she can't afford it. And then Emry offers, I can take out, you can pay it back over time if you want. When Emry offers her this, it launches again Nesta into her memories, where she recalls the villagers doing no such thing for her and her starving sisters. So Emery's offering this level of kindness, being like, oh, you can pay me back. But nobody would do that for them, that only Feyre had kept them from dying in those days. She recalls the night when Feyre returned with the meat and the pelt, and how that night she had planned, if there was no food, she was going to offer her body to Tomas in order to feed her and Elaine.
Oh my God.
She doesn't
but
say...
also, again, she doesn't say Feyre, though. She doesn't... That she would have given her body to feed her and Elaine, even though Feyre was doing all this work, man.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Oof.
I think the takeaway, though, is that Feyre was different from the beginning, and it never occurred to Nesta that Feyre would need her help.
Need someone to take care of her, because and it is weird in a way, it's a backhanded compliment of well, she was going to take care of herself because she can take care of herself.
Yeah.
So, but it is still a bitchy thing.
Oh, yeah.
To think, but that's how her brain was conditioned.
Right. And precious Feyre was always doing everything better. When Feyre returned with the food that night, and then that fairy broke down their door, something changed in Nesta. 3 days afterwards, she went to Tomas and broke it off. I think before I've said it was the day after, but it was actually 3 days after. When Feyre asked her not to marry Tomas right before she left, it must have stuck with Nesta. They were no better off at that point, but Nesta realized she didn't want to be stuck with this man. When he hears this news, when she comes to confront him and say, I'm leaving, he attacks her. Spiteful whore.
He'd growled.
You think you're better than me? Acting like a queen when you haven't got shit. It becomes clear that he intends on taking what hasn't been offered, and survival instincts kick in. Nesta in those moments feigns giving up and just letting him take what he will, but when he gets close enough, bites down on his ear and tears.
Yeah!
Yeah,
get in there, bitch!
It shocks him enough that she gets time to run, and she leaves and never looks back. Soon after, the fake news about her father's ships being found reaches their cottage. Even then, Nesta knew it was a lie. the glamour not working on her.
Man, she was too she was too powerful before she even became a fae.
She was already a fae in her heart and soul.
Oh my god.
Returning to that present moment, at like leaving her memories, she thanks Emry again, but says, it's not necessary for me to get the furs. Perhaps surprisingly, Emry then asks Nesta to stay for lunch. Oh my god, a friend?
Oh my god, bitch's lunch.
Bitch's lunch.
Love bitch's lunch.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me happier than midday. All of a sudden, you're like, bitch, you want to get lunch? I was like, bitch. Yeah, I do want to get lunch, bitch.
Nesta's a little taken aback, and she thinks that Emry wouldn't invite her if she knew how truly awful she was inside. Heck, she's hardly better than old Bellius there.
Smellius. I doubt it. Nesta, don't think so poorly of yourself.
But I do think it's good for her to acknowledge she has
an issue. Yes.
And so she's like, Emry doesn't know, but she probably will at some point find out. She wouldn't ask for lunch then.
Oh.
But she decides in the meantime she's going to take her up on that offer that no one has invited her to a meal in a very long time. I would like that,
Nesta said, and meant it.
Over the course of that meal, Nesta and Emry sit in a small back room of her shop, and Nesta notices that the table's only set up for one person. Upon inquiry, she learns that Emry is single. She doesn't have a mate or a husband.
But it is sad I guess it's not sad, but even if I'm eating by myself, can you imagine setting up like a placemat and a table for one, like table for one, as I'm just eating by myself? That I'd probably say as I took out the chair for myself and cried into my meal.
You could also look at it as like self-care, because a lot of times when I eat alone, I'm just like, just like a little gremlin on the couch eating toast.
Don't look at me.
So maybe it's just her way.
You're right. I'm treating yourself. You're right, Natalie. Pronoia. That's a much nicer way of looking at this.
We'll call it that.
Sure.
So she, Emry doesn't have a mate, but Emry's kind of like, I don't want one anyway.
Hell yeah.
Nesta tells her, yes, that's the same for me. But Emry asks about the, quote, handsome General Cassian.
Okay.
Nesta denies it. No. No. Emry's like, okay, girl. I can smell Sex Panther all over you, but whatever.
Yeah, like that's the thing, Nesta. You can't lie about this shit because people can smell it.
That's so unfair. Everybody knows your business.
Yeah, I really, really, again, how many times I can say how happy I am that we do not have that kind of scent appraisal in our society.
See, I'm glad I'm a human.
Yeah, guys.
Emry offers Nesta a serving of her stew and fresh bread, and Nesta exclaims that it's delicious and fresh.
Oh.
Emry informs her that she grows the vegetables herself, but that spices are in short demand up here on the mountain. For whatever reason, the visit with Emry is drumming up a lot of memories from Nesta's childhood. She again is drawn back into her thoughts, goes back and thinks of her father's offices, where he traded spices from all over. While Nesta spent her times there in the offices as a child, eyeing up the man meat for potential sons to court.
Man, always eyes on the prize, man.
Yep. That's how she was bred.
Yeah, very impressive.
Feyre would want to know about the business aspect, learn about the artifacts and worldly goods that her father traded. Feyre even tries to get Nesta to learn about these things, but perhaps, based on her need to please her mother, it only served to drive a wedge between the two sisters. Emry asks if she would like to have traveled around with her father if it hadn't been considered inappropriate for a rich girl to go gallivanting around.
God, I'd love to gallivant.
Me too. It's my favorite. I'm glad I wasn't born as a little rich girl.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm glad as a little trash dumpling girl. Trash dumpling?
I think we might be considered trash dumplings.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. Let's eat some dumps.
Yeah, dip some dumps. She thinks about how Feyre and Elaine had described different things that they had wanted to see, like fantasized about seeing art and flowers on the continent. And then Nesta admits that even though she would have wanted to please her mother, she secretly would have loved to have gone and seen the sights. We also learned that through this conversation, Nesta's mother had a cousin who lived on the continent, and that was the extent of her extended family. The cousin, whenever they had become poor, had ignored all of Nesta's letters, pleading for help, after their fortune was lost.
Nice family.
Yeah, thanks a lot, cousin.
Oy. Man, lots of bad cousins in this chat, you know? They're just, I guess it's for the best that I don't talk to any of mine.
Yeah, I have good cousins, but I know a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
Got
man.
a bunch of bums.
Got a bunch of smelliuses.
We learn that Emry never knew her mother or brother, who had died at her birth and before she was born, respectively. That just left her with her father, who was a tyrant and died during the war with Hybern. Goodbye.
Yeah, but I'm sure another really, like psychologically fucked up death for her that she probably had to process, I'm sure.
Oh, sure. But I do think ultimately she's glad because she wanted to run the shop despite the fact that, like, females were not supposed to be doing that.
And now she gets to, because ain't nobody can tell her no.
That's right. Except the extended family with whom Nesta had become acquainted that day was trying to get their grubby hands on Emery's shop, which is why Bellius was there that afternoon. Rizan had changed inheritance laws so that females could own property, because of course he did.
Yes, he did.
But her backwards family doesn't see it that way and felt that they were owed the business. We also learned that Emry has never left this little village. Certainly couldn't fly out of it. When Nesta tastes something odd in her tea, Emry informs her that it's the willow bark she puts in it to help her wings, which still hurt from the clipping sometimes.
Oh my God, flap, flap, flap.
No, she can't flap.
She can't flap at all?
The flaps hurt.
Oh my God, her flaps are hurt.
Been there,
Oh,
sister.
God, yeah. Put some balm on it.
You're not supposed to put balm in there.
Yeah, I know.
They finish their lunch, and as Nesta's heading out, she casually mentions about the training she's doing at the House of Wind. Emry immediately turns it down, saying, no, I'm good. I don't have any way to get out there. Nesta tells her they could arrange for it. But again, Emry says no. The villagers would definitely not be into her learning how to fight. You don't seem like a coward.
The words rang between them. Emry bit her lip, but Nesta shrugged.
Send word if you wish to join us. The offer stands.
Also, you gotta think, Emry is now living on her own. She don't need nobody. She also is going through, I think Nesta does see a lot of herself in Emry, which is probably why so many of these memories keep coming up for her. Because,
Emry memories.
Emry memories! Ring! Except they're sad, so we don't want Emry memories. But it's good to process them, and I'm very proud of you. But also, she ain't need nobody. And so I imagine she sees this as reaching out your hand, but sometimes you don't want a hand to be reached out. You go, no, get that hand away from me.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that also there is just part of it that Nesta can see that just based on the attack today that maybe Emry could stand to learn some self-defense.
Yeah, and you kick that guy's
and you go,
ass.
No,
Hell no.
So, that's an intense thing to say. To say you don't sound like a coward. I can't tell if that's ballsy or just really shitty to say to somebody.
It's a little much, but I think that I can see what she was trying to do there. But cool out a little bit. Yeah.
But no matter, she's made the offer, and now we're zipping over to Cassian.
Okay.
Who's back dealing with Eris,
and they're kissing.
No, Jackie, that's your fanfic. You got it mixed in there.
Oh, they're not kissing, but just gotta close your eyes and whoop, there they are.
So many people can kiss behind your eyes.
Yeah, man. Isn't that awesome?
So it turns out that the Illyrian business that he needed to do that day, or the reason they were up there, is that he needed to come back to meet with Eris, this time meeting at the Illyrian steppes deep in the Night Court forests. Cassian's irritated to note that he's technically really glad Eris is there using his fire magic to warm the two of them as they stand in the frigid winds.
Which is kind of cute.
Yeah, he's like, God damn it. But I'm happy.
Yeah, but he likes it.
So Cassian's here on Rhys's orders to inquire about Eris's knowledge of the Dread Trove. They basically need
plot.
to... Yes, the plot. The other one that's not based on the sex.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to ask Eris, tell him about the Dread Trove, and ask if he's ever heard of it. Eris hasn't ever heard of it, and he feels very sure that his father hasn't either. That's good, but then Eris mulls over Briallen's decision to keep that information from Bayron because, of course, they're working together in tandem. He needs time to process why and what this means for them all. So he says, like, I'm going to go mull this over for a minute. So thanks for the info, you fucking asshole, Cassian. Cassian's like, oh, damn it. Don't say that mean things to me.
Yeah, whoa. Are they in the room right now?
Yeah.
Teleplay.
Cassian warns Eris, don't bring Dreadtrove up to Baron, okay? And Eris says he's not going to. But then in that same breath asks if that's why Morgan is in Valhalla right now. Is she trying to find out if they know anything about the Dreadtrove? Cassian doesn't tell him that it's actually because she's still trying to convince them to sign the peace treaty.
You gotta give some information, but you can't give all the information.
Yeah. Also, I think it wouldn't serve them for Eris to know that they don't have the situation under control.
Ooh.
Yikes. Eris snipes back that he assumed she's going away all the time so she doesn't have to see him. Cassian says, don't flatter yourself, which in turn results in Eris calling Cass a, quote, mongrel bastard.
Eris, it's like, can you just not, like, you always got, like, get something new.
It's just,
you've known him for centuries. You have nothing else besides the fact that he's a bastard. That's it.
Well, it's because there's nothing to actually hate about Cassian, and he's being a jealous little petty boy.
But it's just always the same thing. It's like, get a new bully tactic. You're better than that. Be better. Be better.
Be better at bullying.
Be better at bullying.
And so when he calls Cass a mongrel bastard, he knows it gets under Cass's skin, which is why he does it.
I know.
And so he gets fully amused when Cass's anger appears across his face. Eris is like, haha, got him. With a few more words exchanged, Eris winks at Cass and disappears, taking the heat with him. Cassian stands at the bottom of the steps there, trying to brush it off, but the interaction gnaws at him.
Of course it does, because it's like it can never just be normal. Like, can we just get through this? We have to work together.
You have to just call me names every time?
And we have to kiss.
Oh, God. I don't think Eris deserves kisses right now.
Whoa. You're right. You are right.
We'll see. I feel like maybe he'll at some point deserve kisses.
Okay.
Yeah. At the beginning of chapter 6, we're with Nesta at the end of that same day after Cassian had his interaction with Eris and she had an interaction with Emry. But now Nesta and Cassian are back at the House of Wind. She doesn't know what Cassian was doing that day. We know as the reader because we had his POV, but she just basically had her lunch with Emry and then went back to Rhys's mother's house to wait for him to return. And when he did, his face was tight and he was withdrawn. Now that she's finished her work up at the library, she heads back up to the house and decides she doesn't want to eat alone in her room that evening. Mm-hmm. So she goes to the dining room and finds Cassian already sitting there at the table.
See how much bitch's lunch can do? Sometimes you just need a bitch's lunch, man.
And then you want to chat.
Yeah, and then you're more open for the day.
Yeah. So she goes to the dining room and he's sitting there at the table with a glass of wine in his hand. Somebody's had a rough day. As she enters, though, the wine disappears and she kind of amusedly says to him she's not going to tackle it out of his hand. He doesn't have to disappear it. He informs her it's the house's doing, not his.
Oh, cute house. Got her back.
Yeah. She sits across from Cass and a plate of food appears before her. She watches him and can see that he is still brooding. See? Brooding again, Feyre. It's almost like he's constantly broody. Mm-hmm. She asks him if something bad happened with the queens, or she's trying to figure out. She doesn't know what happened, so she's just like, he seems upset. And he says, no, it's not that. It's just stupid Eris.
Yeah, but he opens up to her, too.
She begins to eat at first. Like, she just lets it drop and starts telling him about her interactions with Emry that day. He's short with her, but she can tell it's not because he's angry with her. So she decides to again broach the subject and ask him more directly, what did Eris do? He's showing a little bit of shame on his face, as though he believes the things Eris says about him.
No.
So he looks down at his plate as he tells her what Eris said. She feels rage course through her when he reveals Eris called him a mongrel bastard. Cassian admits that though he knows they're allies, he just can't help but hate that shithead. Eris and his twisted word games and politics are an enemy I don't know how to handle. Every time I meet with him, I feel like he's got the upper hand. Cassian wonders aloud whether he's just a stupid brute after all.
Stop, you need kisses.
And something courses through Nesta. I think it's caring?
What is she, some kind of bear?
She kind of...
What, is it gonna come out of her belly?
What? Oh,
Care Bears.
Care Bears. Okay. I got there.
Thank you. Thank you for going with me.
She sees the self-loathing on his face, and it causes her to get up out of her seat, go over to his side, and lean against the table next to his plate. He looks up in surprise. She tells him they should just go off and kill Eris, like, fuck him.
Whoa.
And Cassian admits that even though he hates Eris, he would make a better High Lord than Baron, and that's more important.
He ain't wrong.
Nesta sees the goodness pouring from Cassian. It makes her hot.
Out.
She feels panic over knowing that she's said things so similar as Eris to Cassian. And what's she gonna do to make up for it?
Oh no, put on a little slip. Oh no. Shame rushed through her. Shame and anger and a wild sort of desperation. She couldn't abide the pain in his eyes, teetering on the brink of despair. Couldn't stand the absence of the grinning and winking and swaggering she knew so well. She'd do anything to get rid of that look in his eyes, even for a few moments. So, Nesta braced her arms on the arms of his chair as she brushed a kiss to his neck.
Oh my god!
This is like big. This is totally big. This is like giving like a little caring peck. And also, what an like this is where it goes to show, like, you were talking about their intimacy before, like how their intimacy, because like that's totally not a move of someone that you haven't even been inside of me yet. Like that's totally like an intimate move to just like get close and like kiss someone's neck like that. Like I can't imagine doing that to someone I was just dating. Like I feel like I'd have to be married to someone to do it.
Well, it's a very romantic thing to do.
Yeah.
Because her first time, she obviously made the first move with him initially, but that first kiss was like sort of like,
erratic.
I'll show you.
Yeah, wild, desperate.
And this time, yes, it's very different. And so it takes Cassian off guard. He's kind of shocked and his breath catches. But he doesn't stop her, and so she does it again, and then she licks his throat. What? He then begins to stop her.
Cassian shifted in his chair, groaning softly.
Oh.
Is that softly to you? His hand rose to clasp her hip, as if he'd push her away, but she removed him.
Let me,
she said against his neck.
Please.
Damn!
Oh, God.
Damn!
He doesn't stop her again, because obviously he was pushing her away, not because he didn't want it. It's just like,
no, just
I don't know
like
if you're,
I don't know. Are you okay?
Cool,
are you okay?
man?
Are we cool? Are we good?
So he doesn't stop her, and then she slides to her knees.
Why? Natalie, why would she?
His eyes go wide. She says please again, and after a moment, he nods.
Good Lord.
And then she ties his shoes because the laces had become undone. And then she stands up. She's like, your shoes are untied.
What?
And he went, oh, no.
Oh, no, my shoes.
No, that's not why she went to her knees.
Happens.
What's fun about this scene is that the first half of the interaction is from Nesta's point of view.
Love.
And then we shift over to Cassian for the second half.
Love.
So the first like romance scene is her view, and then it is also her again, right? In the second one, pretty sure. No, I can't remember. But this is
It bounces back and forth.
Yeah, this is notably fun because it is like one half him, one half her, and so it shifts over to his POV for the second half of. Stop.
That's happening. Oh. This is where my eyes were going, oh, God,
We know
as I read
now, this is one of Jackie's favorite scenes. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
And so he's finished
with his tying his shoes. Yes.
And then as she stands up, he's still just like shook. And
Yeah, dude.
He can scent her arousal and demands that she, quote, take off her pants. Nesta's delighted and begins to, but
Steps scuffed down the hall. A warning from someone who knew how to remain silent. I love just walking down the hallway. It's me, Asriel, walking down the hallway. Yes, I'm made of shadows, but right now I sing about walking down the hallway.
the two of them shove their clothes back on and step away from each other, like Az wouldn't know immediately what was happening.
Not only not only can hear it happening, but also scent it happening.
They're like, we just having dinner.
We're eating dinner.
But Az is finding this all very amusing. Nesta quickly says goodnight and exits stage left.
Yep.
Leaving the two males at the dinner table. Cassian basically says, thanks a pant load.
Yeah, dude.
Az first plays it off, but then just basically cuts to the chase and says, don't blow your whole load here. Just take your time, as it were. Cassian calls him a busybody.
I love this. Az took a bite.
You let her suck your cock in the middle of the dining room. At a table I'm currently using to eat my dinner. I'd say that entitles me to an opinion.
Cassian laughed, his earlier gloom chased away. By her. All by her.
Fair enough. That's funny.
You let her suck your cock in the middle of the dining room. At a table I'm currently using to eat my dinner, I'd say that entitles me to an opinion. That makes me fall in love with Az. Every time we see his dry humor, I'm just like, oh, Malone, give it.
Somebody also, I think, I'm so sorry if somebody sent it to me via message or I don't remember where I saw it, but somebody I think maybe tagged me in something where it was showing SJM doing an interview and was asked what if Az was a freak or not.
Ooh.
And she was like, oh, he's a freak.
Oh my God. I'm going to die when we get to the next book.
And she's very interesting how she talks about character building, because she basically says in that interview that she has to let him kind of inform who he is in her mind while she's thinking. And she was like, and I was getting sweaty when I was realizing what he's into.
What he's into,
but
dude.
She also said not in a bad way. It's not
not too far into the kink world. It is just he's just a little freak on a leash.
Little freak on a leash.
Okay.
So,
okay, I'll read about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's fun.
Yeah, it is. And I'm so glad that we finally got to my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Sucking his cock under the dinner table. Yes, please. It is a throbbing scene.
It really is. We'll have some readers of it. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry.
I want to end here just because let's end on this nice little scene.
Love it.
We'll get further along now that we're past some of this stuff.
Okay.